Sander Veenstra is Principal IT Application Development Expert at the European Central Bank. Over the last 20 years, he's witnessed a shift from in-house software development to outsourcing to large system integrators, which has led him to understand and embrace the importance of software health. To that end, Veenstra and his team have been incorporating the TÜViT Trusted Product Maintainability Certification into their vendor contracts, helping them to maximize supplier collaboration and efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sander Veenstra.
Sander, welcome in our studio here in Amsterdam.
Hi, thanks Clarinda for having me here in your studio in Amsterdam.
Yeah, it's nice that we can do it in person actually.
Yeah, we through that.
Hey, in the introduction video we heard you're going to talk about you've introduced the TÜV certification for software quality within the European Central Bank. And before we go into that a little bit deeper, I'm curious, how did you get the idea of a TÜV certification for software quality?
Yeah, that's kind of remarkable. A few years ago I wanted to construct a home in Germany, and via the mortgage broker he gave me the idea to do a TÜV inspection on the home to assure good quality of the construction. And so I picked on the idea. Yeah.
And you thought, okay, if I can use this for building a home, maybe you can also use this for building software.
Exactly. So I thought, when there's such a thing for my home that guarantees quality, why is that not possible for building good services?
Maybe it's good to mention for people who are not from Germany, where TÜV, of course, is a very well-known institution that does certification of. Well, before actually I joined SIG, I mainly knew it from elevators and cars.
Yeah.
So within ECB, I'm sure this is a very well-known institute.
Yeah, TÜV is very known in Germany. It's a technical inspection association that basically guarantees the quality of products.
And now you're here at a Symposium of Software Improvement Group. So how did you connect from TÜV to SIG?
I started to talk with former Informatica students, and I started to read about software quality in general. And via them I got into touch with the TÜViT head of certification, Mr. Sutter. And I started to discussions with him, and I invited him as well in Frankfurt, and then I came into touch with the evaluation body being SIG.
Hey, and the reason why you start to think about this, to implement such a certification in the ECB, is because there was something going on. What were the challenges you were facing?
Yeah, we always face challenges, and there are always things going on. And at that specific time, I was dealing with an application that had some headache. I mean, we had many deliverables from the developer, and the testers kept on finding bugs, and we had too many iterations. The deadline had to be postponed and all that. So it took also the attention of management. And I thought something had to be done before, you get just the finger pointing that doesn't contribute to a solution.
So you were looking for something or some party who could help out to find out what was going on, because this was with an external vendor, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So I basically wanted to get the evaluation body, SIG, into the picture, but yeah, it's not just a finger knip and you can do it. So I had to convince my management to run a sort of a pilot. So I got some budget, and they approved the pilot for a software quality validation with SIG.
So the first two questions actually I have about that. First, yes, one is, how did the system integrator respond to this idea? And I am also curious indeed, did you eventually get the results or the answers to the questions you were looking for? But let's start with first the system integrator.
Yeah, the system integrator, of course, they were first a bit reluctant. Not like the building constructor, technical people, they do not really like people looking over their shoulder and what are you actually doing. It's more, let me do my job and that's it. But also there, I invited those people to meetings, and I discussed the ideas I had with them and SIG and the TÜViT very well, and I explained them it's not a method of to show that the things you're doing are just bad. I wanted to have a constructive way to put things forward. Yeah. So the answers I was looking for were basically three at the beginning, like how can we adopt new requirements into the service without too much hassle? How can we organize the handover from the development team to the test team in a smoother way? And the third thing that was basically to help the developer in finding ways. How can you contribute? How could we contribute to better code?
Yeah.
Give them better
clear
recommendations
yeah.
and guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you get those out of the proof of concept?
Yeah, basically it was a good exercise. We went from an under average system to a 3-star plus system, and the recommendations have been followed up, and the developers, they were quite happy with the report received, and that led to a much better service. Yeah, and ever since then, that specific service, we didn't encounter the same issues.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that was a very good.
So that's on the side of the developers, meaning also the side of the system integrators. You also mentioned that you had to convince your management a little bit. How did they react to that?
Yeah, that was not an easy part, of course, but efficiency and quality, that's a key factor at our business. So one cannot really have something against it. And on the other hand, we don't want to waste taxpayers' money. So if you run such a successful pilot, that is seen as perceived as very positive. We also had a final presentation in Frankfurt where SIG was participating and explaining the results, and also the system integrator. Yeah.
So the system integrator was similar like what you said about the constructor, a little bit reluctant in the beginning maybe to collaborate, and then they saw the benefits and you had a good working modus, more valuable relationship basically going forward.
Yeah, they received it as very positive. I like the building constructor, he even told me at the end, and I start to see that now as well with the Trusted Product Maintainability certification, that he told me that from the moment that my house was finished, he wanted to sell his construction sites with a certificate from the TÜViT.
So a business model there.
I think, well, it's a good thing if if you produce something technical, you can show it's of good quality, and that is approved by an independent authority, being the TÜViT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened next? This was a proof of concept. What did you do next?
Next, I work for a department for the market operation, the division, and we have a bunch of services, approximately 10, where the maintenance has been outsourced to a system integrator, the maintenance and the development of the software code. And I adapted in the quality paragraph that we would like to obtain the TÜViT certification for trusted product maintainability. Yeah. So that was the next phase.
So you integrated that in the tender, or in the?
That was integrated in the tender, and then once, and then the actual work had to start, and I had to start this new system integrator. What my plans were with regards to software quality. Yeah.
And I can imagine, the participants of this tender, they work probably with the ECB already for a longer time. Was this also accepted that you put in this extra requirement?
A new idea. Yeah. Where I had a few more objectives as well to avoid lengthy discussions about things like software quality, and which were not really based on facts. Yeah. We also I wanted to improve vendor management, and to have an SLA where the software quality was based on an independent certification.
Yeah. So, and then what happened?
Well, of course, I had to explain the system integrator what was going on. So it's the new story as well. So it was a lot of discussion how to, and then we got started. Yeah,
Can
you
maybe, go ahead. Yeah, I'm looking for a concrete example maybe of how this works in practice.
Yeah, it's important that it's a shared responsibility, software quality. It's not just the responsibility of the system integrator. To achieve good quality, we have to collaborate. Yeah, that was basically the thing I had to explain within meetings. I invited the TÜViT again. I remember we had a meeting in Amsterdam as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's about that. I think that's the crucial element, right? It's not just hey, you have to comply with this, but it's more that you need to collaborate and explain that it's not that you're being. That it's a way to improve and to find a better way of collaboration between two.
It's explaining all the people involved. That's a key thing, in my opinion. Yeah.
So now this was a bigger project basically. It's a bundle of systems. So and where are you now in this process? Are there actual applications already certified? Or
things have been certified. We know where the pain points are. Yeah, we have much better material to make plans. Yeah, like sometimes it can help to an application with a very good quality is much easier to adopt new requirements, so things go smoother. So the management understands that's why it works well for this application. If you have an application for less quality, of course you can have issues. It takes longer to adopt new requirements. Yeah. So that it helps to a mutual understanding. Yeah, and so some other case where we found some architectural issue. Well, then probably it's a good decision to rebuild the service from scratch. Yeah.
And did the recommendation from SIG play a part of that?
Definitely. Yeah. That's all. This kind of information came all out of from the software quality validations being made. Yeah.
Good. All right. Good. I'm wondering. If you look back, we have people online joining. Would you have specific recommendations for them?
Well, clearly, actually, I've been an assistant programmer myself as well. You know that. If you start from scratch with a new thing you have to build, it's kind of easy. You start, you're very productive and you get things going. But along the way, I realized as well, other people do make a piece of code, you make a piece of, the things get messy. And quite often you end up in some sort of a kind of a snail pace, or eventually you get the idea, well, it's better to start from scratch.
Yeah,
I've been there as well, Yeah. So management really doesn't understand why people put so much effort. What you mean building from scratch? So, and of course, and then you have coding standards, and you should absolutely use tools and coding standards and all that. But
so that's recommendation 1: use coding standards across your organization.
Yeah, but it's a very important thing to have an independent. Inspection authority like the TÜViT with a certification program. I really recommend to use such a thing.
Yeah.
So you get independent facts
instead of opinions.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree on that.
I know within ECB you are sort of the front runner with taking this initiative.
Yeah.
What are your plans going forward? Are you going to
currently we also we have certain activities which are not in this bundle. So it's a new build applications. I also work for a project for implementing a treasury management system, and I convinced my peers that's a good idea that the add-ons that are built on this system, built by a system integrator, that we run software quality validations
as well. Yeah.
And this is in the pipeline, and also for other projects. I am not personally taking part of that, but I convinced project managers and other peers that work on that specific project that they really consider to run those validations as well in my department. Yeah.
So, and they are now recognizing it, so that's already a big step forward, I guess, a big accomplishment.
For me, that is the biggest accomplishment. So you start something from scratch, and we get things going, and the mutual understanding is growing as well. I'm quite pleased and happy with that.
Yeah, that I can imagine. All right. Well, thank you very much for explaining your journey with regards to this within ECB. I'm going to open up for questions. So please submit your questions in the QA function in your screen. In the meantime, I'm going to look at if something already came in. And let me see. Do you now have indeed more valuable relationships with your IT vendors?
Absolutely. The vendors they embrace this initiative as well. I mean, especially the ones that have seen the work we have done, and they see absolutely that it's not a tool to finger point to them, but it's something to help them to build better software, which is also in their benefit. It's a kind of a win-win thing. If they produce better software, it's less work for them to adapt new requirements. So
it's helping both ways.
We get better quality software, and for them it's easier to produce to implement the requirements we have. So basically, I clearly see this as a win-win situation.
I have a question here.
More questions.
Who's actually paying the bill for the certification?
That's a very good question. I mean, I'm not really. I mean, at the end of the day, I honestly believe that it pays out the bill. I mean, on the whole project budget and the money spent on software development, this is worth the money spent. That's what I can say to it. And in certain, I mean, at the end of the day, the bill is paid by the one who gives the order. But I'm not a bookkeeper, so it's not me at least.
Thank you very much for being here, for coming especially to Amsterdam.
Happy to do that.
I'm really happy to hear the story and your journey. And thanks a lot.
Yeah.